You are not going to believe what happened. I'm still, reeling, you know? It's almost 2 a.m. and I can't sleep because my mind just keeps replaying everything. Honestly, between you and me, I probably should have seen this coming. But who does? Nobody, that's who. My name is Cassie, and I'm 28, and my life it took a turn. So, it all started, a few months ago, right? Everything at my job was pretty much the usual. Just, plugging away at the office, trying to make my numbers look good, dealing with my boss, Mark. He's usually pretty chill, but sometimes he gets these weird moods where he's all intense. And then there's Liam. Liam was the new guy. Or, well, not new, he'd been there maybe 6 months, but still new enough that everyone was still doing that polite dance around him. He was in my department, so we were always, in meetings together, sometimes working on the same projects. He was fine. Not really my type, but not ugly either. Just, there. And then there was Kevin. Oh, Kevin. My boyfriend. Bless his heart. He's a good guy, you know? Too good sometimes. Always trying to avoid a fight, always saying, whatever you want, honey. It can be sweet, but honestly, sometimes I just want him to, do something. Take a stand. Anything. He's a great provider, though, I'll give him that. Always made sure the bills were paid, never complained about me spending a little extra here and there. We had this thing where he covered most of the rent and the car payments for both our cars, and I'd just, handle the groceries and my own personal stuff. It worked for us. Or, it worked for me, anyway. So, this whole thing with Liam started really subtly. He'd, walk by my desk and make some comment about my outfit, or laugh a little too long at one of my jokes in a meeting. Harmless, right? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I liked the attention. Kevin, bless his heart, he's not exactly showering me with compliments these days. It's more did you remember to take out the trash, you know? So, a little attention from Liam was nice. It made me feel seen. And, between us, I wanted to scream sometimes with Kevin. He'd just be so checked out, like he was living in his own head. One day, Liam asked if I wanted to grab coffee. Just coffee, he said, no big deal. And I thought, why not? It's just coffee. So we went, and he was, really chatty. He was telling me about his ex-girlfriend, how she was so manipulative and always made him feel bad about himself. And I'm sitting there, nodding, oh, that's terrible, but in my head I'm thinking, dude, you're just spilling all your drama to a coworker? Red flag much? But then he looked at me with those big, puppy dog eyes and was like, you just seem like such a good listener, Cassie. And, okay, I'm not made of stone. It felt good to be seen as a good listener. Kevin just usually stares at his phone when I try to talk to him about my day. The coffee thing became a little more regular. Maybe once a week. Then it was lunch. And it was still just work stuff, you know? Or, complaining about work stuff. He'd complain about Mark, I'd complain about Mark. It was bonding. I swear. But then he started saying things like, you're so much smarter than everyone else here, Cassie. Or, it's crazy how much more talented you are than, insert coworker's name. And yeah, okay, I ate that up. Who wouldn't? My self-esteem isn't exactly through the roof all the time, even if I pretend it is. One time, he was talking about how his ex would, totally control his friendships and make him feel bad for hanging out with his guy friends. And I was like, oh my god, that's so wrong. But then Kevin asked me about going out with his college buddies for a game night, and I got all, pouty and said, do you have to? I was really hoping we could just chill tonight. And he, of course, stayed home. See? Double standards. I know. But it's different when it's me. So, anyway, things with Liam started to get a little much. He'd started texting me outside of work hours, which was fine at first, just, like, memes or whatever. But then he'd get all intense. Like, you're the only one who really gets me. And I'm just sitting there, thinking, seriously? We've had, like, 3 lunches. But then he'd follow it up with something about how hard he works and how no one appreciates him, and I'd be like, ah, poor baby. I definitely used his vulnerabilities against him sometimes, not gonna lie. Like, if he was being a little too clingy, I'd bring up something about how he's so sensitive and how I need my space. Works every time. One afternoon, we were working late on a project, just the 2 of us in the office. Everyone else had gone home. It was, like, 7 p.m. and the lights were dim. He kept inching his chair closer to mine. And I was trying to focus on the spreadsheets, but he was just there. And then he said, "Cassie, you're so beautiful when you're focused." And, like, I didn't know what to do. My heart was actually pounding. He reached over and, like, touched my hand. Just brushed his fingers against mine. And I pulled my hand away, kinda fast, like, oops, sorry, just, need to type this. But he didn't get the hint. He kept moving closer. And then he, like, leaned in, and I could smell his breath, which was kinda minty, but also kinda like old coffee, and he tried to kiss me. And I just, like, froze. I didn't know what to do. My mind was racing. Oh my God, what is happening? What do I do? If I push him away, it's gonna be awkward forever. Is he actually trying to kiss me? Is this assault? All these thoughts, like, jumping around in my head. I mean, it wasn't, like, violent or anything. He just leaned in. And I kinda, like, squirmed away, really fast, like, whoa, Liam, what are you doing? And he pulled back, looking all shocked, like I was the one who was out of line. He said, "Oh, I thought. I mean, you've been so nice, I just thought," and I cut him off, like, no. No, Liam, I have a boyfriend. I was just being friendly. This is a professional environment. And I actually started to feel tears sting my eyes. Not because I was sad, but because I was, like, panicked. What if someone saw? What if this got out? And I hated that he put me in that position. Like, how dare he assume? I just gathered my stuff really fast, grabbed my bag, and basically ran out of the office. I didn't even say goodbye. I just, like, blurted out, "I gotta go," and left him sitting there. I drove home, and my hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I kept replaying it in my head. Did I lead him on? No. I was just being nice. He's the one who's a freak. And then I thought about Kevin. And how he would react. He's such a peacekeeper, he hates conflict. He'd probably just tell me to ignore it. But I was so mad. So mad. When I got home, Kevin was, like, watching TV, all chill. And I just burst into tears. Real tears, too. Not the fake kind I sometimes use to get out of trouble. These were, like, genuine panic tears. Kevin, bless his heart, he immediately got up and was like, "What's wrong, baby? What happened?" And I just, like, buried my face in his chest and mumbled something about how I had a horrible day at work. And he just held me. I didn't tell him exactly what happened. Not yet. I needed to, like, think. The next morning, I still felt gross about it. I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I went to work, and I was, like, dreading seeing Liam. I walked past his desk, and he was sitting there, looking all slumped. He didn't even look up at me. And I felt a tiny bit of guilt, but then I thought, no. He did this. He put me in this situation. I went straight to Mark's office. My boss. And I told him. Well, I told him my version of it. I said, "Mark, I need to talk to you about something really serious." And I kinda teared up again. It wasn't hard, honestly, I was still kinda shaken. I told him that Liam had, made me feel really uncomfortable. That he'd tried to, kiss me. And that it was, a really inappropriate advance. I made it sound way worse than it was, honestly. I mean, he just leaned in, right? But I described it as if he was, forcing himself on me. He assaulted me, Mark, I said, looking all vulnerable and wide-eyed. And I kept my voice kinda shaky. Mark's face, got all serious. He said, Cassie, are you saying Liam assaulted you? And I nodded, slowly, still sniffling. Yes, Mark. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. And I made sure to emphasize how I felt, trapped and vulnerable. I even added, I probably should have seen this coming, he was always so intense with me. Which, between us, was true, but I made it sound like I was oblivious, not, enjoying the attention. Mark, he's a good guy, surprisingly. He took it really seriously. He said, okay, Cassie, thank you for telling me this. We'll investigate immediately. You don't have to worry about a thing. He even said I could go home for the rest of the day if I wanted. Which, hello? Free day off. I didn't take it, though. I wanted to see what would happen. And, selfishly, I wanted to be there to, witness the fallout. And oh, there was fallout. The next day, Liam wasn't at his desk. His computer was gone. His plants were gone. Everything. And then I heard whispers. From the other people in the office. Did you hear about Liam? I guess he got fired. Something about inappropriate conduct. And I just, kept my head down, pretending I didn't know anything. Acting all innocent. Oh, really? I hadn't heard. Total lie, but who cares? A few days later, Mark called me into his office again. I was, expecting him to just, thank me again or something. But he sat me down and he was, really serious. Cassie, we've decided to make some changes to the department structure. And we feel that you are the perfect person to step into a leadership role. My jaw almost hit the floor. He was offering me a promotion. My heart was, doing a happy dance in my chest. A promotion. And Liam's gone. It was perfect. I mean, sure, the whole assault thing was a little much, but it got the job done, right? And I didn't feel bad about it. Not really. I mean, he did make me uncomfortable. He did try to kiss me. It wasn't my fault he was so socially awkward. I accepted the promotion, obviously. And I got a raise. A good one. I went home that night, and I was, glowing. Kevin noticed right away. What's got you so happy? He asked, all sweet. And I just, hugged him really tight and said, I got a promotion, honey. He was so proud. He didn't even ask about Liam. Good. Things at work were great. I was the new lead, I had more responsibility, more money. It was everything I wanted. I even started to, forget about the whole Liam thing. Until, a few weeks later. I was scrolling through Facebook, just, minding my own business, when I saw a post from this girl I knew from college, Sarah. And she had, tagged Liam in something. And it was a picture of him. And he looked good. Really good. Happier. And her caption was something like, so glad I found someone who truly understands me and appreciates me for who I am. Cheers to new beginnings, Liam. And I, felt this weird pang in my stomach. What the heck? He was, moving on already? With someone else? Someone who was, prettier than me? My inner shade session went full throttle. Ugh, who even is this girl? She probably has, no personality. Just a pretty face. And then I saw the comments. People were, saying things like, Liam, you deserve all the happiness. And, so glad you're finally free. Free? From what? Me? It was, like, a gut punch. I mean, I knew what I did. But to see him all happy, it felt wrong. It felt like he won. And I couldn't have that. So, I started, like, subtly bringing him up to Kevin. Remember Liam from work? The guy who got fired? Apparently, he's, like, dating someone new now. And Kevin would just be like, oh, really? That's nice for him. And I'd just roll my eyes internally. Nice for him? He tried to assault me. I mean, it wasn't assault, but I'd convinced myself it was. It was convenient. Then, things started getting weird with Kevin. He started, like, asking me about my spending. Honey, did you really need those new shoes? We're trying to save for that trip, remember? And I was like, excuse me? I got a promotion, I deserve to treat myself. And anyway, you pay for most of the big stuff, so what's the big deal? I felt like he was, like, micromanaging me. And he started suggesting we go to therapy. I just feel like we're not connecting, Cassie. We should talk about our communication. And I just, like, shut down. I don't need therapy. There's nothing wrong with us. You're being dramatic. I'd just go silent or start crying, and he'd back off. Works every time. Weaponized vulnerability, baby. But he didn't always back off. He started, like, setting boundaries. Cassie, I'm going out with my friends tonight. I told you about it. I'm going. And I'd be like, but I wanted to watch that movie with you. And he'd just, like, say, we can watch it tomorrow. And he'd leave. It was infuriating. He was trying to, like, control me. And he started, like, checking my phone sometimes. Like, who are you texting? And I'd get all defensive. None of your business. Why are you so insecure? But then I'd be, like, checking his phone when he wasn't looking. Just to see who he was talking to. Because, like, what if he was talking to someone else? He's too nice, he'd probably be easy to manipulate. And then the arguments started getting really bad. He'd bring up old stuff. Remember that time you said you'd help me with my resume, and you just went shopping instead? And I'd be like, oh, so now we're scorekeeping? You forget all the times I've been there for you? I'd twist everything around. Make him feel like he was the problem. You're always so negative. Why can't you just be happy for me? One night, we were fighting, and he said, you know, Cassie, sometimes I feel like you just use people to get what you want. And my blood, like, ran cold. Not really, but I felt a jolt. He was talking about Liam. I knew it. He didn't know the full story, but he must have suspected something. I started crying. Real ugly crying. How could you say that to me? After everything I'd been through? I thought you loved me. And he immediately softened. No, baby, I didn't mean it like that. I'm worried about us. And I just kept crying, and he, like, pulled me into a hug, and I just kept thinking, he'll never know. He can't. But he did know. Not everything, but enough. I should have seen it coming. I really should have. He started coming home later and later from work. He stopped asking me about my day. He just seemed checked out. Totally emotionally distant. I'd try to cuddle with him on the couch, and he'd just be stiff. And I'd get, like, really angry inside. What's his problem? I got a promotion. I'm doing great. Why isn't he happy for me? Then, one Saturday morning, I woke up, and he wasn't in bed. I went into the living room, and he was sitting on the couch, just staring at the wall. And there was a suitcase by the door. A big one. My heart, like, dropped. Kevin? What are you doing? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He looked at me, and his eyes were just empty. I'm leaving, Cassie, he said. Just like that. No emotion. I can't do this anymore. I started to panic. What are you talking about? Leaving? Where are you going? And he just looked at me, and he said, I'm done, Cassie. I can't be with someone who can't be honest, with me or with herself. I found out about Liam. My breath hitched. What? What about Liam? I told you what happened. I was still trying to act innocent. He just shook his head. No, you didn't. You told me a convenient version. I talked to Sarah. Sarah. Liam's new girlfriend. My mind went blank. No. No way. How did he find out? She's my cousin, Cassie, he said, his voice flat. She told me everything. How Liam was distraught after he got fired, how he told her he never tried to force anything, how he just misread signals. She said he genuinely thought you were interested, because you kept, laughing at all his jokes and going to coffee and lunch with him, and how you were always, complaining about me to him. She said he even felt bad because he thought he was breaking up our relationship, which is why he was so cautious. He thought you were, into him. My face was burning. I couldn't believe this. My cousin? Liam's new girlfriend? The world was, shrinking around me. She told me how you made it sound like assault, Cassie. And how you just, used him to get ahead. And how you've been doing the same thing to me for years. Twisting everything, making me feel like I'm crazy. Making me question myself. I tried to interrupt, that's not true. She's lying. She's just jealous. But he just held up a hand. No, Cassie. She's not. I've been thinking about everything. All the times you've made me feel small, all the times you've used tears to get your way, all the times you've compared me to other people. The way you always post those happy couple pictures on Facebook, but then you're a completely different person when we're alone. The way you expect me to pay for everything, but you squirrel away your own money. The way you use my insecurities against me when we fight. It's all clear now. He stood up, and I felt, this wave of panic wash over me. No, Kevin, please. Don't go. I love you. We can fix this. I was actually crying again, for real this time. Because I realized he was serious. He was actually leaving me. He just looked at me with this sad, tired look. There's nothing to fix, Cassie. You don't even see what you're doing. You're always the victim, always blaming everyone else. But it's not everyone else, Cassie. It's you. And then he just, picked up his suitcase and walked out the door. Just like that. He didn't even look back. My heart felt like it was ripping in two. Not because I lost him, not really. But because I lost my security blanket. My provider. My easy life. So, he left. And I was alone. Totally alone. And then it got worse. A few weeks later, I got a call from Mark. Cassie, we've received some disturbing information regarding the Liam situation. We're conducting a full internal review. And I knew what was happening. Sarah must have told Kevin, and Kevin must have told Mark. I mean, it was all connected. And then, just yesterday, I got the email. Not fired, but demoted. Back to my old position. And my pay cut. They said they couldn't, prove I lied about the assault, but that the information they received, combined with my lack of remorse and general unreliability, meant I was no longer fit for a leadership role. And Mark even added in the email, your public persona as a supportive colleague has been severely contrasted by private reports of manipulative behavior. The nerve. They basically called me a liar. And Liam? He's doing great. I see his posts with Sarah all the time. They're, engaged now. Engaged. He got a new job, too. A better one, apparently. So, he's happy, he's successful, and he's marrying some random cousin of my now ex-boyfriend. And I'm stuck in my old job, with less money, and Kevin's gone. He's living in Dallas now, with his brother. He sent me a text a few weeks ago, just one. I'm actually happy, Cassie. For the first time in a long time. The audacity. So, yeah. Here I am. Almost 30, back where I started, living in this apartment by myself, trying to figure out how to pay all these bills on my own. And Kevin's just gone. And Liam's thriving. It's just not fair. I don't care anymore, honestly. Kevin was too nice anyway. And Liam was weird. I mean, sure, I probably shouldn't have said he assaulted me. But he did try to kiss me. It's not my fault things blew up in my face. It's their fault. Everyone else's. And I'm still here. I'll be fine. I always am. But honestly? I'm bitter. So bitter. And I don't even care.